So we're on the itching here, which once upon a time was prime sort of dry fly, and these days, sadly, because of the decline in the insect life, it's a mere shadow of its former self. Really, at this time of day, it's just gone 1 o'clock. Conditions are perfect, good overhead cover. It's the right time of year you'd expect a lot more fly about. We're seeing 1 or 2 blue-winged olives, some pale watery, but the fish should be really rising like crazy to hatch a fly, and sadly that's not happening. Just shows the importance of fly life, and that's not based purely from a fishing perspective, but also all the creatures that share the river with fish. Things like dippers that feed on case caddis and, well, caseless caddis larvae, pied wagtails and more so yellow wagtails and grey wagtails. Obviously kingfishers that predate on the smaller fish, minnows, sticklebacks and parr. All of these are reliant on the invertebrates that essentially are the fabric and the important part of the food chain, and we're losing them. We are. I mean, if these things had fluffy tails and bright shiny eyes, there'd be an uproar. But sadly they're just small creatures that nobody really cares about. Sadly, it's what you can't see that you tend to miss. Because they're tucked away in the weed and in the silt on the stream bed, it's easy to neglect them. There is a few fish showing. We've actually had 1 or 2 with a dry. So I'm just looking for fly coming down. As I was saying, the dry fly fishing for me is where it's one of the most interesting disciplines of our sport, simply because what beats seeing a trout come up or a grayling to nab your fly at the surface. It's perhaps more exciting sometimes than actually landing the fish. It's that sort of moment you've got everything right and it's gone in your favour, but you need flies to be hatching. So I'm just waiting, see if anything rises, or I can pin one down. Yeah, I think there's just been a subtle rise right in this little fast current immediately in front of me, so let's just pop a fly down there. He's just shown again. I'm going to change my angle slightly and come across the body just to try and get slightly more accurate cast into the fish. That's on target. I can see the fish now just under that curtain of water. Let's see if we can tempt him up. There he is. Oh, it's feisty. So that's an itching wild brown trout, just taken on the dry fly. Certainly it was highlighted more so in the south that this is where you'd argue the decline initially started, further north from where I am. Yes, I'm not going to deny that we're suffering, but it's not at the alarming rate that the chalk streams are suffering. Just watching for fish. They're not up that regular, which makes them a little bit more difficult to pin down. That could be the hatch, ladies and gentlemen. Done and dusted in 15 minutes. Where usually you'd expect 2 to 3 hours of surface activity. So a lot of my dry fly fishing's become more of a waiting game these days. Waiting for fish to show before you pinpoint them and hopefully tempt them with your fly. So hopefully you can see from the footage, the dry fly footage we were taking earlier, the importance of invertebrates, or on this case upwing flies, but it's a lot broader picture than that. as we were talking about, it's the health of the river, and it all stems from these tiny little insects living on the stream bed that we easily overlook. Now, as a proud Vice President of Salmon Trout Conservation, it's important that we support these, and that just doesn't necessarily mean being a member. Getting involved in the Smart River project they've got up and running. Ordinary anglers, just people like me, I'm really a nuts and bolts fisherman. Dry fly fishing, yeah, that makes me tick. But at the end of the day, for me to continue enjoying that kind of sport, I've got to get involved, and I urge you to get involved as well. Thank you.